So the way I think of it is, how do you and I need to split up our responsibilities for the business to take it somewhere else, to the next, like, I guess the next level, or maybe for us to have peace of mind sometimes in the summer, or a little bit more free time to work on the business, not in the business. Like, that's my goal with this. Like, how do we go to the next level? Because currently, us always making the hot dogs isn't the answer. I think we established that, right? So if we label out some of the things that we know is necessary, like, we know we need sales, we know we need marketing, we know that we need what would you call it, like, in the trailer, like the operation in the trailer?
It's like an operations manager kind of thing.
Operations management. We know that we need to look after the finances, right? Like,
Accounting.
finance and accounting. And then these things kind of start to branch out, but even just now when I think about financing and accounting, there's so many ways that goes to, like, profit margins. And when you think about profit margins, you have to think about budget. Because if you want to maintain a profit margin, you can't just recklessly spend. You have to work within your budget. And how do you know a budget for the coming month when you don't know what business is going to be like? So then that's when I go, like, from, all right, profit margin, budget, forecasting, and then understanding the state that this stuff is in, and then how does sales and marketing take these things to the next level?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if our budget is, say, $1,000 a month to spend on this area, well, how does sales and marketing improve our profit margins and give us more wiggle room to continue to invest in the company, right? And then who's doing the sales and marketing, who's doing the operations management, and who's doing the finance and accounting? Because currently we both have strengths and weaknesses, and we're both doing all of it all the time, and making the food,
mm-hmm.
and selling the food. So there's, like, working on the business on one side, and then on the other side there's working in the business. And then working in the business, we talked about this too, the documentation of everything that we already know, because it's all in our head, which is terrible. Because you mentioned saying, like, what is everything that we do? And how do we get it documented for other people to learn how to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where that run book comes from.
Yep. Could you start at the SOP run book? And what does that run book even look like? Is it just straight up the Word document where everything's documented? Or is it an organized place where, like, there's descriptions and it's kind of like a book, but then there's lots of links that take you to places that go more in depth? You know, like, what should that run book look like? Does it take you to, like, a different Google sheet where something's spelled out? Like, there's just a lot of things that we could start to put on paper to have this high level idea of what our company should look like for you and I to better manage it and take it forward. That's what I'm thinking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we could break it down. Like, this probably could even go further. I mean, it definitely could go further. That was just an example. Because sales could go further, because sales and marketing are pretty much the same thing when you think about trying to increase revenue at Armour Square Park, like at that location, right? Because you're not going out and selling to people. You're just sales and marketing in combination to get people to come to your place of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you think about private parties, that is more of like actual selling. calling a business and asking them to do a corporate lunch, or reaching out to a brewery, or going and finding active business. There's two different funnels there, right? It's like those people reach out to us too, and that's how we have all of our business in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But how much business do we leave on the table by not being the ones that are going and finding these engagements? And there's company lunches every week, every day, and so like this is an avenue. And then like, who's doing this stuff? Like, am I gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? And what do we care about? And also, what are we good at?
Right. It's like the overall go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. So, what are some of your thoughts on this, or where do you think we should start?
Well, it's like I think I've said it before, but it's not to really flip this on its head. But I like to start from the enumerating the responsibilities of the tasks. You know,
Like, so on this side of the business?
Either or. It's just like what as opposed to who. It's the what. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the listing of the individual things, like whether it's on the right side, it's, you know, classifying transactions in QuickBooks, or, you know, those kind of things, versus...
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so that's a good place to start. So if we stay under finance...
Because otherwise this is cool, but this looks like you have a team of 7 people or 10 people.
Right.
Which is, maybe at some point that is a thing.
Right.
But as opposed to those seeing all like a list of 24 tasks, maybe that's actually, even though 2 dozen be 24, maybe that's actually breaks down to only 3 people based on when you actually group them together, you know?
Right, because what's interesting about where we're both headed, because like I was being more broad and you're being more detailed, and there's going to be, they're going to merge together once we realize here's what we're doing, but here's what we also need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because just as one example, right, here's what we do for marketing, which is not much. We fucking make posts that we're open. But then here's what we have to do for marketing if we actually are going to care about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, cool. Let's stay under finance. I like classifying. QB transactions. Alright. Some of the other things that we do, I guess, would be monthly PEL reports, because we pretty much did that last year. To our credit, though, every year we have gotten better.
You mean for the park district, or just in general?
For us. I mean, we did it for the park district, but that's another one.
Right.
So
the sales reports.
I'll put in parentheses More Than Dawgs profit loss, because monthly you and I would go through the whole place and take inventory.
Like for depletion.
Yeah. We would do. Yeah. We would do depletions, and then after depletions, we would take a look at the monthly P&L reports to see how we did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also kind of retrospectively talked about what might have contributed to that. Like in May, when we had the big private party event, we said that was a big contributor to profit that month,
right?
Which was awesome. Depletions. So classifying QuickBook transactions, monthly P&L reports for More Than Dawgs, along with depletions, monthly sales reports for Armor, or for Chicago Park District.
Yep.
So let's see, what else do we do regarding working on the business? So, would inventory management, would you say that's working in or working on?
What do you mean by management? Like, do we need to buy something versus?
Yeah. Like, determining what to buy.
Yeah,
when
it's
to buy
working
it
in the business.
Okay, I'll just put it over here for now so we don't forget. Operations management. I mean, we do. This is just you and I pretty much banging heads on stuff all the time. Like, should we? Let's say we have a private event. How do we do it? Like, what's the most optimal way to do it?
You mean the actual execution of it?
Yeah, like us creating a plan for it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like all right, if we're going to a Chicago Union game, are we bringing the Blackstone or not? Are we driving 2 cars or not? Like, what's efficient, and how do we like create those plans? Like, we should always have, I guess, a foundation for these different types of events, right? We'll call it logistical planning.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say private event inquiries.
Mm-hmm. Responding to those, managing
Private
them,
event inquiries.
following up on them, the leads.
Yep. And then for marketing, I feel like currently we don't do that much. Like, occasionally, like, we'll sponsor something or...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just need to get a lot better at that. Of all of it.
Yeah, we gotta be way better. It's like non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Any other topics? Any other broad topics to add to this stuff? I mean, there's technology.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maintaining like the terminals, the register. Even that's related to the POS stuff, but it's more
Equipment maintenance.
right. And that has its own inventory in a way. That they charge. Do we have receipt paper?
I'd like to add one too, just like tracking expenses more closely. Because like right now we have expenses and they just happen. We're like, oh, we need that, and then we buy it. But I'd like to pay attention. I'd like to pull the expense reports out of QuickBooks more often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing, and is it justifiable? Like, is it lining up with our goals? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just got this printer, and the printer was a no-brainer. Like, we need the printer. We think it's really gonna help us. Questions like that versus just buying things and we didn't fully think through the question, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the due diligence on it was important, and what you're describing is due diligence in general and everything, right?
Yep. Let's see. What about if we just went all in, just whether it's on the business or in the business? What are some other tasks that we do day to day? If we talked about the day to day grind, I mean, condiment prep. Then you got dishes. And you got water coolers.
Mm-hmm. Propane tanks.
Then you also got like inventory runs, which inventory runs covers everything, right?
Vienna, Tom.
Propane, Tom, Vienna beef, Restaurant Depot, La Galeta, the produce market. What else do we... I mean, occasionally Costco, because we like to grab like the old heavy-duty garbage bags, Ziploc bags.
Coordinating the Coca-Cola delivery. So it's not like it comes right to us.
Coca-Cola.
Last time it came to Sicko, that we had to go meet up at Sicko. Prepping meats. It's not like right, but like prepping core items.
Mm-hmm.
Like our buns frozen,
Perishable.
our sausage is frozen. Well, everything's perishable, but like, you know, what's frozen that has to have come out the night before, the morning of. Defrosting, you know. I'm counting buns.
Instead of just throwing the bag in there, right?
Right, if that's the thing, you know. I mean, we can only go on what we do now until we figure out the flow for the trailer.
Hopefully we end up with a freezer.
You can see the two different pens.
You can add on the payroll.
Payroll, yeah.
Forgot about that. I mean, at this point too, you might as well add taxes because
Payroll, and it's like
we've done our taxes for 4 years.
Time management.
Business taxes, and also you pay the sales taxes every month.
Mm-hmm. It's not just the runs, right? Like you have to call Vienna, so placing orders.
Yeah. Oh, Mikowski.
Mm-hmm. because you can't pick up VNF if you didn't call it in.
Yep.
Which is an obvious thing, but you can't call it in a certain time on Friday. You have to be careful of a holiday.
You can't pick an order up on the last day of the month because their accounting period's closing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not open on the weekends. Mikowski's not open on the weekends. So how do we take, I mean, there's more, right? There's more stuff to write down.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we take a lot of the stuff that we have written down, which is probably the bulk of it, not all of it, and how do we make something of this? Like, how do we interpret this and decide, like, okay, this is how we should be better about this? Like, here's a plan.
Well, I think we need to, what we have here, we need to refine even further. But this is a great start, but refine into very specific tasks, like very, very specific, like one-liners.
Because I like what you said about it's not about who, but it's about what.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe want to rerun through these and just give them all a category.
Mm-hmm.
Ensure they all have a category. Like, let's say that this was some giant company, and a giant company has a bunch of departments, right? It's like marketing, graphics design, accounting, sales, trade development, brand management. Like, let's put all of these into their own category and then start to, like, work its way up to, like, this is the task, this is the category it falls under. So in theory, someone who's managing that is managing all of this below it,
mm-hmm.
right? Which is going to come back to you and I, but maybe it will help us organize things a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, monthly sales reports for the Chicago Park District. Is that a finance? We consider that a finance thing?
Yeah.
Same thing with monthly P&L reports and depletions. Right, because you need to do the depletions for the monthly P&L reports, but the depletions itself is like an inventory management thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this comes under inventory, but like it's someone's let's imagine this would be someone's responsibility to get this done for finance to go and close out the month's P&L.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be me, and then also me. But again, let's just go with it. QuickBooks transactions, technology and maintenance, but this also falls in with kind of like the POS management too.
Mm-hmm. I'd say they go into logistics and operations also.
Cool. How's that looking right now? I mean, messy, but
Like a brainstorm.
in terms of the shit we have, it's starting to make
No.
be more clear.
Yeah.
Because then some of the questions we want to start to answer is, what do we, in a vacuum, right? Like let's say tomorrow, money didn't matter, labor didn't matter, because we can wake up and breathe and someone's knocking on our door looking for a job and we're like, here's money to do the job. What are we going to immediately stop doing? That's like one thing that I would want to answer from a lot of this, which, like, here's an SOP run book, here's how everything gets done. What do we not do, and what do we do more of because we're not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to like to get out of this, you know? Because then we can start heading in the right direction with a lot of the documentation and the details, so that when the time comes, someone could come on and, yeah, maybe it takes a week, 2 weeks to train them to know the basics, and they learn more, and hopefully they like it and we like them and all of that good stuff. But then you have somebody that's working and helping the business stabilize while we're helping the business grow by actually trying to be creative or do more research, make better videos, do better editing, go find more events, improve our POS operation with the printer, mounting things in the trailer, getting the right shelves in the right place. Maybe there's a sled, like I mentioned, like sliding food from the left to the right. Like, a person that's in there doing the prep and the food, they're not doing any of that, but you know, because they're doing that, we're able to do the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal to come up with this. Like, what are you thinking? I guess.
I think that's a good goal. I think it's just going to take time to get there, which I'm sure you understand. Because if this is what we have at the moment, you know.
Right. Like, this is literally all that's it.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and in the scope of, well, if we could be opening in a week or two, you know, ideally, at least no later than 3 weeks, you know, before opening day.
Yep.
So I'm just putting it all in context.
That's why I definitely want to get open before opening day, because we're gonna need that time to get our feet under us, because we're in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were just rolling out with the cart, that'd be nothing. But then we wouldn't be opening because it'd be too cold.
Right. But no, I like your. So I'm saying I like your goal. That you have to have the goal, and I'm not against it one bit. It's like it's not to get all Gary Vee on it, but it's like literally the cloud and the dirts, right? The goal is like the cloud and the dirts as well. We have to build our way to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So completely on board, and I agree. And I think it's a good goal. I think it's going to take more than, and this just goes for any situation. It's not being critical of this. It takes more than you think it's going to take, right?
Absolutely. So. All right, we tried to get the trailer plates today. That didn't work out. We put the propane tanks on, right? But what else got to be done? Like, what's our condiment situation look like?
We got to finish mounting the steam table and testing it, right?
Yeah, we got to mount the pipe, or not mount, but secure it.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Where are all our dishes? I know we know where they are, but like gathering.
Well, the room needs to be cleaned and organized down there.
Yeah, getting stuff to the trailer.
We need to take inventory of everything. I started taking some inventory, but we literally should inventory. I mean, I have that checklist.
Mm-hmm. And then getting stuff to the trailer, and then seeing what's left. Because what do we need to double buy for the hot dog cart?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need more spillage bands, or do we have enough? Because we bought so many trying to make those condiment stations.
Right. And then it's like, well, is it a priority to double buy relative to our expense management to when we actually need to deploy?
Right. Or it not even double buy right away, but have an ongoing list of what we need to buy to account for it for like coming months. Like, oh, we do have parties booked now in May, so we should plan to buy these mid-April. Like, that becomes a priority in April, but it's not a priority in March.
Yep. So yeah, that's why in an inventory I started doing like what the quantities, so like ketchup, mustard, burger pickles. I was going in the basement, so I tried to eyeball and remember. And then do we need it to open regardless of what we have? Ketchup and mustard's fine, so we don't need it to open. If we had 1 and 1, arguably we still wouldn't need it to open, but a few days later we would.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what's the balance between, if we're going to open tomorrow, what do we need versus what can wait a week? Like all our produce, we need all fresh produce, but that's like relatively a last minute thing on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's if we sell those on day one or not.
Those are all zeros.
Right. That's why I'm not even putting them. The quantity's more so to judge, well, it's so low we need to buy some.
Yeah.
Burger pickles that we don't need. There's some in the fridge, plus these are unopened full things. Even though it's only 2. Coke, there's only one open case and some, that's why I just put, we need it to open.
Powerades, yeah.
Powerade, we probably open with what we have.
Slap your mama on there?
We have, I don't know how much we have, but yeah, it's not even on here.
Slap your mama.